Practice free updated Endpoint Administrator MD-102 dumps for preparation. 1. What should you configure to meet the technical requirements for the Azure AD joined computers? A. Windows Hello for Business from the Microsoft Intune Blade in the Azure portal. B. The accounts options in an endpoint protection profile. C. The password policy settings in a group policy object, GPO. D. A password policy from the Microsoft Office 365 portal. Answer: A. 2. What should you use to meet the technical requirements for Azure DevOps? A. An app protection policy. B. Windows Information Protection, WIP. C. Conditional access. D. A device configuration profile. Answer: C. 3. You need to meet the device management requirements for the developers. What should you implement? A. Folder redirection. B. Enterprise state roaming. C. Home folders. D. Known folder redirection in Microsoft OneDrive. Answer: B. 4. You have a Microsoft Azure subscription that contains an Azure Log Analytics workspace. You deploy a new computer named Computer One that runs Windows 10. Computer One is in a work group. You need to ensure that you can use Log Analytics to query events from Computer One. What should you do on Computer One? A. Join Azure AD. B. Configure Windows Defender Firewall. C. Create an event subscription. D. Install the Azure Monitor Agent. Answer: D. 5. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that contains 100 Windows 10 devices enrolled in Microsoft Intune. You plan to use Endpoint Analytics. You need to create baseline metrics. What should you do first? A. Create an Azure Monitor workbook. B. Onboard 10 devices to Endpoint Analytics. C. Create a Log Analytics workspace. D. Modify the baseline regression threshold. Answer: C. 6. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Intune Suite. You use Microsoft Intune to manage devices. You need to review the startup times and restart frequencies of the devices. What should you use? A. Azure Monitor. B. Intune Data Warehouse. C. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. D. Endpoint Analytics. Answer: D. 7. You have a Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, MDT, deployment share named DS1. In the out-of-box drivers node, you create folders that contain drivers for different hardware models. You need to configure the Inject Drivers MDT task to use PNP detection to install the drivers for one of the hardware models. What should you do first? A. Import an OS package. B. Create a selection profile. C. Add a gather task to the task sequence. D. Add a validate task to the task sequence. Answer: B. 8. You use Microsoft Intune and Intune Data Warehouse. You need to create a device inventory report that includes the data stored in the data warehouse. What should you use to create the report? A. The Azure Portal app. B. Endpoint Analytics. C. The Company Portal app. D. Microsoft Power BI. Answer: D. 9. Your network contains an Active Directory domain. The domain contains a user named admin1. All computers run Windows 10. You enable Windows PowerShell remoting on the computers. You need to ensure that admin1 can establish remote PowerShell connections to the computers. The solution must use the principle of least privilege. To which group should you add admin1? A. Access Control Assistance Operators. B. Remote Desktop Users. C. Power Users. D. Remote Management Users. Answer: B. 10. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Intune Suite. You use Microsoft Intune to manage devices. You use Windows Autopilot to deploy Windows 11 to devices. A support engineer reports that when a deployment fails, they cannot collect deployment logs from failed device. You need to ensure that when a deployment fails, the deployment logs can be collected. What should you configure? A. The automatic enrollment settings. B. The Windows Autopilot deployment profile. C. The enrollment status page, especially profile. D. The device configuration profile. Answer: B.